Hey, all right, everybody. How's it going? No, I was looking at SMMT data for car registrations in the UK. Now, that comes out on the 5th of every month, and I always look at that every month to find out what the actual sales of electric vehicles are, and other vehicles as well. Because I don't just look at electric vehicles. I do follow all sorts of vehicles. But I was looking at that, and something happened this month that hasn't happened in as far back as I can remember when electric vehicles first came out. And what happened was, let me just have a quick look at the old tablet, and battery electric vehicle sales in November 2023 was 24,359 vehicles sold. Now in 2022, they sold 29,372 electric battery vehicles, and that's a drop of 17.1%. Now that's the first time that I've seen a drop in battery electrical vehicle sales, which is it's a bit worrying, isn't it? So what's happening? Why has this month in particular gone down 17%? Because I've always seen it's always been like a percentage has always been up from last year, but I think this is the first time. I'm sure this is the first time that it's gone down. Now, is it to do with all the negative stories? People like all the FUD, as they call it, all the misinformation that's going out there, because there seems to be so much of it nowadays about electric cars. They catch fire all the time. Electric cars, you can't insure them. What's the other stories? Ooh, it's the time. It's winter as well, so it's the time of the year when. What if you get stuck for 3 hours on the motorway in traffic when it's -3? Well, what you do, you put the heater on low and just sit there and wait. Or put the heated seat on. The battery's not going to run out just by putting a little bit of heat into the car. The main drag on a battery is when you're driving. If you're sitting still, it's not so bad. It's going to go down, but not terribly. Anyway, that's a different story. So is it all the negative stories causing people not to buy electric cars anymore? Or is it that all the people who were going to buy electric cars have sort of bought them, and they're all waiting for they have them for a couple of years, and then the leases run out and they're going to buy more? Or is it... Now, one of the things I did notice is, I'll try and look it up again, if I look at vehicles by brand, and if I go down to Tesla, so Tesla only sold 1,648 cars in November, but this time last year they sold 6,025 electric vehicles. Now, so that means they're down minus 72% from last November on their sales. Now, that might look terrible, but it might not all be bad, because I think a lot of people are thinking about getting a Tesla Model 3. Are probably waiting. They're probably all waiting because there's a new version of a Tesla Model 3 coming out, and I think people who've ordered them, I don't think they come until January or February, so you might see a bit of a lull. I did notice that if I go to MG, they do sell a lot of electric cars, and they sell petrol cars as well, but they sell a lot of electric cars. And I noticed that they've sold 6,785 cars this month, and they're up 34% from last year. MG sales are flying. They're becoming a big brand in the UK. MG is. But what do you think? What do you think has caused a lot of people not to buy so many electric cars in November of this year? Is it because most electric cars on sale are too expensive? Are they all waiting for the cheaper ones to come around? Now, it could be that as well. It could be that we've got to a point where there's a certain, price bracket where people have all bought electric cars, and they need to come down a little bit, for people who are a little bit poorer, people like me, who can't afford, the £40,000 electric cars. I mean, there are ones cheaper, like the MGs, for instance, but there's only so many MG cars MG can sell, isn't it? And a lot of people might not want to buy an MG. Like, for instance, the the Vauxhall Corsa is something like £30,000, and it's just too much. It's too much. The Vauxhall Astra's about £40,000. It's too much. It's way, way too much. So there are cheaper cars being promised coming next year sometime, I think. And I think if these people want to get to the ZEV mandate, these manufacturers, they're going to have to start selling cheaper electric cars. But anyway, put in the comment section what you think is causing the electric cars to sort of slow down. Is it to do with they're waiting for cars to turn up? You know, the newer versions, cheaper versions? Or is it all this stuff that people are saying online is actually getting into people's heads? You let me know. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Hoo-hoo!